Now, Mike Huckabee says he's pretty comfortable when it comes to being in front of television cameras. In fact, his work as a political commentator says it's much easier than his years as governor of Arkansas. And he also says that his years out of office, it's his wife who's been waiting for him to pursue a shot at the White House once again.
I don't hear so well anymore. It comes with age, and loud music played years and years and years when your parents told you to stop, and I didn't.
Like so many of a certain age, Mike Huckabee's love of music was born with a black and white TV and the start of the British invasion.
When the Beatles came and were on the Ed Sullivan Show, I knew that night I wanted to be the fifth Beatle. And so I started begging my parents for a guitar.
His parents didn't have a lot of money, but by age 11, his infatuation with music had blossomed into an obsession, and his folks reworked the family budget.
But my parents ordered an electric guitar from the JCPenney catalog. The whole rig, the guitar, the amplifier, and everything with it, was $99. And it took them a full year to pay for it. They paid a little bit each month to pay for it. And that's my first guitar at age 11. And I was so excited, played that thing till my fingers nearly bled. And then I, at 12, took up the bass guitar because I figured weren't many kids my age playing bass, so a lot of kids were trying to play guitar. And I knew that if I played bass, I'd probably always have a gig in a band.
And he's been playing the guitar ever since, one constant in a life that has seen a lot of endeavors, starting with broadcasting.
That was really my background. Most people don't know that, but I started in radio at the age of 14. And that's how I paid my way through junior high, high school, college, and graduate school, was doing radio. And then later got into television, even created a couple of community television stations, ran an ad agency. And it was from there that I went into church work and did that for 12 years, and then into politics. So sort of full circle. And then I went back into broadcasting. And I love it. It's an incredibly fulfilling kind of career.
And while many identify the former Arkansas governor with politics, others do know him best through his time in the media.
Miss you on Fox.
Thank you. I miss it too. I had so much fun doing that show.
Yeah, it was great.
I met terrific people, a lot of folks I never thought I would ever get to meet. Some of my favorite guests were the people that folks were shocked to see on my show.
Yeah.
You know, Bradley Cooper and Meryl Streep and Melissa Etheridge. People that don't necessarily agree with me or my politics, but they were wonderful people, and just had some terrific experiences getting to meet people that I never would have met otherwise. And then as a musician, getting to play with some artists I never thought I would meet, much less play music with, and to be on this stage with everyone from Leonard Skinner to Def Leppard and Toby Keith and, you know, even the late Andy Williams, Willie Nelson, the group Yes, when Chris Squire was still with them. I mean, there's some amazing experiences. It was just terrific. And also, I do miss the paycheck.
As a youngster, he might not have envisioned a foray into politics, but he says that all changed with fatherhood.
And then when my kids were little, and as they started growing up, and I'd see what they'd come home with from school, and I'd look at the world they were growing up in, that's when it started hitting me. You know, I don't want to be up in the stands watching this country change so dramatically, and me on the sidelines doing nothing about it. And so my wife and I took a long walk around our neighborhood after many months of reflection and prayer and thought, and decided, you know, we're going to come out of the stands and get on the field. We may get our jerseys dirty and may get bloody and beaten, but, you know, our kids are worth it.
And his biggest champion is undisputed. That belt goes to his wife of 41 years, Janet.
My wife actually has always wanted me. She's believed that I should do this, that I was called for this. She was mad at me in 2012 for not running then. Now, she later said something to me that in 41 years of marriage she's rarely ever said after the election, because I told her, I said, here's why I'm not going to do it, and here's what I think is going to happen. And when it did, she said to me, you're right. And I didn't hear that ever before, and probably never again in all these years of marriage. So, but no, I've never had to worry that she was kicking and screaming all the way through this process. And frankly, I would never run for office if my wife were against it.
You are very smart, dedicated, honest. Are you too nice to be president?
Well, I was going to quote you on everything you said until then.
He may be a nice guy, but Huckabee learned early on in his career that politics isn't beanbag. After winning his first election in Arkansas, his Democratic opponents welcomed him to Little Rock with a bit of a prank.
The day I was sworn in, I went to open the door to the office, and I couldn't get it open because it had been nailed shut, literally nailed shut. And it stayed that way for my first 59 days as the elected lieutenant governor of the state. That was my first introduction to being an elected official as a Republican. I'd get on an elevator and people would get off. I'd walk down the hall, people would turn and go the other way. It was the most lopsided political state in the country.
Huckabee, though, is a man of faith, and he's inspired by people as well. And he points to a pledge made by a former president, a Democrat, JFK.
We're going to send a man to the moon and bring him back in a decade. He did not live to see that, but I did. And I believed America could do anything because I watched Neil Armstrong put his feet on the surface of the moon, and I'll never forget it. It was a magic moment for me as a kid.
But these days, Huckabee finds inspiration in simpler places as well. An example of that, perhaps captured perfectly with the last question of the day.
What's your favorite thing to do with your grandkids?
I love to read to them. It reminds me of reading to my kids, which I did every single day. And frankly, I just like to watch them because they make me laugh. I mean, they just make me laugh. My wife and I say often, we now understand when we keep the kids for any length of time, we understand why God gives babies to much younger people. The energy required to handle toddlers is extraordinary, but it's the most fulfilling exhaustion I think we ever experience. But I find there's something affirming to me when I look at my grandkids. It's almost like God saying, I'm not done yet. I'm still bringing them in. So, you know, there's something here coming. You're not going to be here to see it all, but don't worry. I'm making some more. It's kind of nice to know that.